So then we are back with the modern understandings from the Renewed Covenant from the Aramaic English translation of the Word. This translation comes from the original manuscripts of the prophets of old, from the time of the prophets of Israel, giving us then the understanding of the time of the end as per the description of the prophets and also the Mashiyach himself and also the Shilishim. So then we can understand what it means of the time of the end and how people should be directed. Then the time comes. So then we find the Mashiyach explaining the many mysteries of the Torah. And every time the Mashiyach is speaking of the riches, he is always speaking of the explanation and then the enlightenment found in the Torah. So then understanding what the Mashiyach was then making a reference of, he was always pointing his people then to the Torah, and then understanding the future would bring then the holy cities around the world, and then his people would be then involved in a holy city. Torah then obeyed 100%, and then obviously they would minister to the Gentiles as they would come near the city. The nearing line, coming near. So the Mashiyach explained to his people regarding then the functions. And many people these days, while they speak of so-named churches, and they can't explain the gifts, because in fact, there is neither. The reality of it is then the cities, the holy cities and functions. So then we begin our understanding of the scripture as per then the description of the Mashiyach himself. In the future, the Mashiyach knew that many would come in his name, and we then should safeguard ourselves and remaining ourselves in the truth. And in 2009, as we know of, the 1,000 years of Satan then ended because he mixed the Gentile with what he thought was then heaven. And as we have described it from the original manuscript, it's not what he thought. So then we are returned to the truth, back to the holy cities, as it was during the time of Yohanan. He was not on the island of Patmos, he was on the mainland in a holy city. So then those cities are returning, thus restoring harmony. And the Mashiyach did speak with his people, stating, you are going to hear of wars, rumors of wars, but the time is not yet, because then it would come the time of restoration. The point is, his people then would have to make a choice. Shimon said, obviously, a discipline would come upon the tabernacles of Elohim, because his people have then abandoned the entire works. However, this time was predetermined. So then the time has ended in 2009, and they must return to the holy cities. So then we should always point the people to those holy cities. And the first city, as we understand, per the prophecy of Yeshayahu, comes from Yeshayahu 1:8. Tabernacling amongst the fears in the land of Cush. Gives you then the understanding of the holy city returning. And then the other cities, they are going to be also built, while then the Chinese are going to take over the trades of the world.